All right, so we're here on the desktop here, and I do have a few things laying around here because I went out and flew one of my 4 channels. I actually flew and crashed one of my 4 channels today. So I got quite a bit going on here. Let's go ahead and take off this part for my lanyard here so you can better see the screen. Oh, looks like I got a little something on there. You'll notice that my screen over here actually has, I haven't peeled off the screen protection that they have on this radio as of yet. I haven't peeled it off yet. I've already done the upgrade to this radio, but we're gonna just take a quick glimpse at what you have here. So we're going to start, I'll start this one first. So pay attention to the screen. The first thing you see is my splash screen.
Welcome to HTX.
And then you see the model layout and all of that. One of the things that I have here, and just to show you, all right, return. So if I page over, now you'll see my logo. One of my logos, this is my Altone Tech logo here in the middle of the screen. I've made this. I'm going to show you because I'm going to be making a screen for this guy, very similar in the future. I'm going to show that and show you how I did it in case you want to do the same thing. This one is not a touch screen, but I did do some customization and all of that. You see I do have HTX on it. So let's go ahead and page back, and what we have here is you can see my channel mapping on this side, what the channels are doing, and that's my arm switch. And this one, I have a couple of these switches actually doing things, but not all of them are actually doing anything. And so you see the trims and all of that. So it's a nice color screen, but like I said, this one is not touch. I actually thought it was a touch screen. It was supposed to be a touch screen, but it's not, unfortunately. So that is my jumper T18. So this guy, oh, and before we do anything else, let's do this. And let's go ahead and page over, because I want you to see there's quite a few different things here that you can page over and see. So this is what we have. Edge TX, which is the version that's on this currently, Flying Dutchman 2.8.0. And there's been a couple of different versions of this screen. So there you go, images, firmware. RC Video Reviews, that's one of his templates, which is where I get a lot of my information from. So I'm using his template here, and then my global functions and all of that. So I'm actually going to have to go and transfer a lot of the way I have this set up into this radio, and I'm going to have to remember a lot. So let's go ahead and turn this one on. You'll notice the splash screen as we turn it on. That's the splash screen, RadioMaster. And then you hear the sound there. And then this is the screen. And I have a model here. It's just a model. There's a couple of models that are actually in this radio already. And so there's some models already here. A couple of helicopters, a couple of jets, and very, very nice. Eachine P51D. I wonder, these look like the 400mm models. And that's what I crashed today, was the T28. So I'm gonna have to do some work. And then they have a quad here. So you could actually, in the OMP Hobby M2, you can control from this as well. So some of these Eachine, you can actually control from one of these radios. Now, normally you would need the 4-in-1 module, which I plan on getting a 4-in-1 module that can be plugged into this guy, so it can control everything this can control, include Express LRS. But primary, I'll be using Express LRS for this particular radio. But let's go ahead and look at the model real quick. Not the model. Let's go back. We don't want to duplicate anything. Return, there we go. See, my return is over here, and I'm looking for it here. So here, the difference between these two radios, first of all, is you have model, which is this button here, the model's here, where return is on this side. So here we have return, and a page forward, page back, and the telemetry, and an assist, in a model. I have 2 power buttons on here and a single power button on this one. And then everything else is pretty much the same. All of the controls or switches are named the same as well. And then your sliders are all named the same as well. But you do have that difference. Let's go back to, so if I return here, and this one is my return button over here. So that's one of the first things that's a little bit different. The scroll wheel on this one, I want to say, yeah, this scroll wheel is metal, where this one is made out of plastic. And then, you know, we just have a little bit different look. I may put a skin on this. This has a carbon fiber skin on it currently. I may put a different skin on this one at some point. So let's go ahead and go to, like I said, sys. And we're going to look at the model on this one. I did get the date updated on this one. Actually, the date is incorrect. I need to fix the date. So let's go ahead and fix the date on this guy real quick. Let's see if firmware, radio setup, date. So the date is incorrect. And you see this is also a touch screen. So we can go back because today is the, okay, February. The time currently. And I like using, I actually got these pins for this radio. 165412. Yep, that's correct. So there we go. And let's see if I can go sound or volume. Beep volume. I'm gonna turn down a little beep. Beep length is fine. Pitch, wave volume. And background volume, I'll leave that. Okay. So now let's go ahead and page over. So you got a lot going on here, as well as a bunch of different, so that's the high contrast. That's the one I'm currently using over here. So that's why I'm using this, is because my, there we go. Now, it's very similar to this. We're going to go in and make a couple of changes, but for the most part, I like the high contrast. So let's go ahead and page over. And here we go. So let's go back to here. We don't need a model. We need a return. Sys. I have to remember that my return and my model are swapped on this one and that one. But, and I was trying to use my, and so here we have it. Edge TX16s, and this is 2.8.0 Flying Dutchman, and here I have Edge TX16s, version 2.9.3 Providence. The date on this one is January of 19, January the 19th of this year, which is when I actually installed it. I mean, not when I installed it, when it was actually released. And that was the time it was released. And this one was actually 2.8 was released in 22. So this is way behind, even though I'm upgraded it to 2.8. I did upgrade to 2.8, but they have been putting out some additional updates. And of course, we have this one module, internal module is Crossfire, and that's what it's set to. And because it's using Express ELRS, and this one, we're gonna have to, let's see if we can go down to it. Okay. The internal module is off, external module is off right now. So both of them are turned off. This external module is off, but the internal module is on. And that's based on the model that we currently have. So if I return here, return, because I'm using, that's my Aerofly RC model that I use to fly, RC9 and RC10. So if we come back out of here, select a different model. So let's go ahead and go to my tutor, for example, select model.
Road profile 2.
There we go.
Road profile 3. Rate profile 2. Rate profile 1.
Okay, yeah, the screen is dimming.
Pressure active. Pressure cut.
Little strange. I've actually put this picture in myself. I'm gonna show you how to do that later as well. But this is where we're at. So if we go back up over to not model, we go to sys and we're looking at Flying Dutchman. We tap on this, and then we see our internal multi-protocol status AETR, and it's a multi-protocol module, where this one is the Crossfire internal. And again, it's because it's Express ELRS, because it's using a Crossfire. That's what that stands for. It's using that Crossfire topology, I guess, what you would call it. But essentially, I just wanted to kind of give you an overview and look at the radio really quickly. And we'll return and go back out to the main screen, do the same thing here. And I'm going to change this back to what I had it, because to the model that I had it on, because I'm going to want to fly it again. I think I need to change a setting or something. I'm not sure exactly why it's doing that. But I think I'm gonna need to change a setting or something to keep it from going dim every time I do something. I'm not sure exactly why it's doing that. But anyway, that's it. Everything else on the radio is pretty much the same. Like I said, the sys key, which gets you into the system information and all of that, is pretty much the same on both radios. The model button is on this side. Here we have 2 page buttons. Here we only have one. It will only page forward. Here we have page forward and reverse. And then your telemetry button. Let's see if we go back to return and return here. Hit that button, and that will give you your setup for your different pages and whatnot. I just added a page to that one just so I could show you what that background page looks like. But this one, and even the templates. So if we go back to return here, return there, even the template is different. So this template is using a standard background, and that's part of the reason why I chose it, so I could change that background to something I wanted it to be. Some of the templates that you use for the coloring and whatnot of the screen, they have different pictures in there, so you can't really change them and whatnot. So yeah. We got our time up here. We've got, our movement as far as our elevator, rudder, everything. You can duplicate the model. There's a bunch of different things you can do with these. There are speakers up here in the front. And there's some additional connections on the bottom of this radio that are not, see if you can see that there, that are not on the bottom of this radio. So, and then all of these are actual buttons that you can push, and it's a channel that you can change or you can program to do certain functions on the aircraft that you're flying. Most of you, if you're brand new, most of you are only going to use about 4 switches. Usually those 4 switches. You may use your potentiometers here at the top, and I have that one programmed for the volume. So you may use the potentiometers to change your volume, or you can change the screen brightness. You can program them to do that, but you're going to use your control sticks, your thumb, your trim switches, and maybe 2 or 4 switches, depending on what you want your functions to be. On this radio currently, I have, I have to switch back to the model that has it, but I'm using this switch for modes so that I can change to from a beginner mode to a mid, where it gives you a little bit more control, to your expert mode that gives you all control. And I've set that up in the radio for different planes. You can change your expo on a switch. You can do a bunch of different things. And so for most of you, especially beginners starting off, you don't need this radio to do the majority of what you're going to do. But if you want to be able to have additional controls, like your landing gear on a switch, you want to have your flaps on a switch, you want to be able to change the position of your flaps, you want to be able to also do stuff like I actually want to have a a cargo door that will open and close, so I can drop like little army men with parachutes on them from my aircraft. I can program that on a switch, and it'll be an additional servo inside the plane. So there's a bunch of different things that you can do as far as with all the switches that you have and all the different controls and whatnot that you have on this radio. Bunch of different things. A couple of your trim switches can actually also be reprogrammed for other purposes as well. And then you have two little sliders, one on each side, that can also be programmed. So essentially this is a 16 channel radio. I believe it's a possibility to get even more functionality out of it. I don't think I'll ever have the need for anything greater than what we already have here. So I think this is a great one. It will follow you through your flying career for a very long time. It's much more than you need to start off with, but it will give you a lot of control. And the main reason why I really think it's a great radio for beginners too is because you can control a lot from this screen. There's a lot that you can do here, and you can have a lot of fun with it in the process. So thank you so much again for hanging out with me today. I know, like I said, I was planning on doing a full rundown of how I upgraded this radio, but I'm going to share with you all the bits and pieces in a future video. I really want to put that together because I believe as a beginner, it's something that you're going to need to know. Have an absolutely fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon.